So Season 2 of Delta Force is right around the corner, and while there's a bunch of new content coming with this season, there's also a very interesting new system called Turbricks, T-U-R bricks. So kind of similar to the Mandel bricks, but you earn them in completely different ways, and they're tied to a bunch of new cosmetics that are also going to be able to be sold to other players to get premium currency to then spend on the shop. And these new Turbricks are seeming to be much easier to obtain, especially if you're an operations player that's very good at making money or alloy. Now, starting off, how are you going to obtain these Turbricks? So there's three different ways. In Warfare, you can get these from earning high scores in any of the matches you're in. Now, you already have a chance of obtaining Mandel bricks from doing this, but presumably these Turbricks are going to be given out a lot more frequently from Warfare, and you probably won't need to get as high as score as you would need to have a chance at the Mandel bricks. You'll also be able to obtain these from in-game events and through the season pass, but seemingly the easiest way to obtain these is through operations. You can buy these for 10k alloy, or the main currency of operations. Now, it doesn't say anywhere that there's going to be a limit to buying these, so if you have a lot of money in operations, you'll basically just be able to gamble away a bunch of your money. But for 10k per brick, it's actually not that expensive, but with it being that cheap, I'm presuming that the main rewards from these bricks are going to be somewhat rare. And that begs the question, what are you actually going to be able to obtain from these Turbricks? And the main cosmetic rewards are all going to be some new weapon charms, and this is tied to Hackclaw's toy box, which is where all of these new cosmetics are going to be coming from. And these are basically fantasy inspired weapon charms. You have a king, a queen, you have a witch, you have knights, and then you have a dragon. And presumably you'll also have a bunch of other rewards within the Turbrick, maybe some weapon cosmetics, and probably a bunch of other random rewards like random boxes of loot for operations, and a lot of the other things you could also get from Mandel bricks that weren't just the skins. But these weapon charms are kind of the main thing these new Turbricks are focused on, and you're not only able to obtain all of these rewards, but you're able to sell these deluxe charms. Now, it seems that the deluxe charms are all of the weapon charms that they showed off in the video. So the king, the queen, the dragon, the knight, all of the charms they showed off are seeming to be what they're calling these deluxe charms. And these deluxe charms are able to be traded to other players through the market, and you're able to sell those for Delta tickets, which you're able to use as a premium currency to buy things on the shop. They also showed off a little chart that shows how the system is going to work. So you obtain the Turbricks from buying them in operations, from getting high scores in Warfare, or through other in-game events in the season pass. That'll give you the Turbrick, and then when you open those Turbricks, you have a chance to get the deluxe charms, which can then be traded to other players. Now, you can only trade these charms once, so once someone buys them, they can't go and trade them. Trading them, you can get Delta Force tickets, which allows you to buy other items in the shop, but there's actually a few other pieces to this, because charms can also be recycled back into more Turbricks, excluding the deluxe charms. So this also brings into question, are there going to be a bunch of other charms in the Turbrick outside of those deluxe ones that they showed off? So I guess we'll just have to wait and see which charms are actually considered the deluxe charms, but any of the non-deluxe charms you can recycle back into Turbricks to try to get deluxe charms. And if you get the whole collection of all of the deluxe charms, you can actually turn a deluxe charm or all of the deluxe charms into luminous charms, which have this glow animation on them, which is going to be quite interesting. Having a little charm on your weapon that's also glowing, it definitely has a chance to distract you when in combat. So there is still some unknowns with the system. One of the primary ones being what are actually the deluxe charms. Now, when they showed off the Hackclaw's toy box art, it does say that the deluxe charms are the Source of Destruction, the Kingdom Scepter, and the Lazy Witch, but that doesn't mean that's actually all of the deluxe charms. Presumably all the charms they showed off are deluxe charms, and there'll be other charms within the Turbricks that aren't considered deluxe charms. But if you're somebody that's trying to get the most out of these Turbricks, I think you'll actually be able to make a decent bit of Delta tickets. Now, the best way to obtain these Turbricks is just going to be to play operations and make a lot of alloy and then spend it all on Turbricks to try to get deluxe charms and then to sell those deluxe charms to other players, because there's going to be a lot of players wanting all these deluxe charms because you can then get that luminous animation on those charms when you collect them all, and you'll just be able to keep selling those deluxe charms for Delta tickets. And presumably really early on within the season, these charms will be going for a lot more Delta tickets than later on. So if you're somebody that's been playing a lot of operations, you have a lot of main currency to spend, I would definitely recommend to continue to farm that currency going into season 2, so you can buy a ton of these bricks very early on to sell a lot of these charms very early on. And that's primarily what I'm going to be doing. I've currently around 20 million alloy, so I'll probably be buying a ton of these Turbricks, selling off all of the deluxe charms. Then later on in the season, I'll just get the full set of charms for myself to be able to get those luminous animations on them. So I think if you set yourself up with a lot of alloy going into season 2, you'll probably be able to make a good amount of Delta tickets. So you'll possibly just be able to buy yourself some of the premium cosmetics without actually spending any money. And this is something I really like that Delta Force is doing. You're able to earn this in-game stuff and then sell it for premium currency and buy the premium cosmetics with that. And the fact that they're adding these Turbricks with basically no way to actually spend real money on them. They're just an in-game reward that you earn from doing things in-game is, I think, one of the reasons that Delta Force as a game has kept its player base and has actually been growing. The game's been out for almost a full season so far, and it has actually grown. I think it was just this last weekend that the game hit a new player peak on Steam, and it hasn't been losing players. It's been keeping pretty much all of its players, which is pretty massive for a new game like this. So I'm personally really excited for these Turbricks and just being able to spend all of my operations currency on basically these only in-game loot boxes that you can then also try to sell for some Delta tickets. So I'm very excited for this, and I've been farming up a ton of additional alloy to just be able to spend it all on bricks in season 2. But that's all I want to go over, so thanks for watching.